Coach,
All
you
right.
let me know when you want me to
We are
mute. Oh,
we are live on Facebook. So let us know in the chats and the comments where you're tuning in from. Billy Grady's already waving. Good to see everybody on this Tuesday. We're going to mute the line out and get it started this morning. All right, all right. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Big waves to you. Good to see you. Good to see you. So we've been doing this thing long enough for several years now that isn't it crazy? Monday through Friday since before COVID, it was supposed to be a couple of weeks. Yes, it's crazy. So, but what's been fun is we watch the seasons change. And I've watched this literally 5 days a week for several years. The seasons change. Summer come and go. Fall approach. Winter start to happen. And it's really interesting with humans because we have to almost collaborate into the new change of the season, right? And I see it with the fluctuation of, it's like everybody's kind of getting back to school and then they got to get in to the fall part of the season. It's like, we just want to sit around and sip on coffee in the morning. Isn't that okay when it starts to get cool? So we are excited to have you on. And the word for today is perspective. And if you look at the definition of that, it's a mental view or perspective, a mental view, excuse me. It's the visible scene in our mind. And I come across this and I thought this sums it up the best. It's the capacity to view things in their true relations. And I come across two really good quotes that says humans see what they want to see. That was the first one. Humans see what they want to see. And then I came across another one I thought that was super cool. It says, songs are sad as the listener. And this was so funny because I listen to like the tunes of songs. How many of you are like that? Like you listen to music and you listen to the sound. I'm like, that's a cool song. And then somebody else listens to it and they're like, Brent, that's horrible. Like that's a horrible country music song. And I'm like, I never really heard the words. I just like the sound and I like the way I like the tune. So I don't know if you're like me, but it's all perspective, right? And so when I saw that, songs are as sad as the listener. So where I went with perspective this morning, because to me, I can get myself in a lot of trouble with having perspective. And here's what I mean by that. Have you ever read a text and completely misread the person? That's why normally I'm personally going to pick up the phone and call you because I'm a terrible text reader. From a perspective, I'll read it as you're shouting at me. I'll read it as you're mad. I mean, I'll have you worked up in a way that's crazy in my head, in my own perspective. And so I almost have to call you to get your tone so I can hear you because you can't hear a tone through text. Does anybody understand me there? Have you ever done that? Maybe it's your spouse. Like you're like, are they shouting at me through this message? So completely misread the message. I know I've done it many a times. So because I believe that I'm reading the message through my mood, through my temperament of the day, through my perspective, right? And so I struggle with text. And that's why I have to hear your voice. I have to hear your mood. But I also thought about this. What about the scale? Like actually stepping up on a scale. Here's what I find is I fluctuate right now, my weight, right? So from January to today, I'd released like 35 pounds. And then sometimes I'm like traveling and I pick up 5 pounds and I can easily get like just completely blown off the track by stepping up on the scales. And I thought about this today when I was thinking about perspective. But what if I take my mind back to a year ago when I was 35 pounds heavier? Because I want to tell you what I do a lot. I don't know if you're this way, but like I'll release 35 pounds, step up on the scales, pick up 5 or 6, and end up getting to a point where I'm like, okay, screw it. And before I know it, I've picked up 30. Rather than stepping back from the scales and go, look, buddy, look where you were at a year ago. Look where you came from. Like if you did it then, you can release the 5 pounds. Don't just keep spiraling out of control with your perspective. Okay. I thought the same way about my bank account. You know, like your bank account. I know, Eva Marie, you never have this problem. But for me, I look at my bank account and I'm like, you know, sometimes it's like really good. And then I see it deal. And it's like, oh my goodness. And I get all over the place prospectively. But if I would take a step back and go, where was I at 13, 14, 15 years ago? So in that time frame, where have I come? What's happened? What have I learned? What experience have I gained? And it changes my entire perspective rather than going, well, I'm broke this week. And I just start spiraling down to this negative place, all because of my perspective. And it's like, if we want to improve in any way in our life, we got to know that we can improve. So it's like, I might have picked up 5 pounds, but I got to know that I lost 35. So I know how to release the weight. I have the power inside of me. It's all perspective. I know I've made more money over the last 13 years, so I know how to do it. So I have the power inside of me to increase that bank account anytime I want to, because I have this skill set now. And I share all that with you. I hope this makes sense to you. I don't know if this adds value or not, but it did to me today on perspective, because it's all between these two ears a lot of times when we look at things. I have people today in my business, it's like probably down at their workload that they've put in this last week. We're not doing as good as they are. But if they look back, they go, you know what, over the last 3 months, we've done better in this industry than we've ever done. Again, it's all perspective. So, Andrea, that was my thought today. So I'll turn it to you.
Well, great lesson, Coach. I love it. And yeah, I think I listen to songs the opposite way of you, because I listen to the words. I don't even hear the tune. Well, that's not true. I hear it too. But the quote that I found was, what you see depends not only on what you look at, but also where you look from. And that's James Deacon. And so what perspective made me think of is, how do we know that we're considering other people's perspective? Like, if every single one of us looks through the world through our own perspective, if we're all going through our, whatever colored glasses we have, be they rose colored glasses or maybe like grumpy puppy glasses, how do I make sure that I'm considering other people's perspective when I'm communicating with them? Like, how do I make sure? And what I looked into was, first of all, we have to realize that we are all, by our very nature, and I know you people are all perfect, you're wonderful, and you're good people, I know this, but as humans, we are all selfish beings. We were designed, we were made to be selfish for survival. So we tend to operate from a perspective that it's all about me. And typically we tend to only see our own side of the equation, and often to our own peril. So if we can realize that we're wired to see things from our own perspective, we're wired to see things selfishly, that can help us gain some perspective and be like, okay, wait a minute, maybe I want to sleep in this morning, but that's going to really mess up other people's plans or whatever it may be, right? But if we just realize that we know that we always know what we want, And that's always our priority. But if we can take a moment just to slow down a little bit and say, okay, hold on a minute. It's not just about Andrea today. It's about all the people around me. We can help ease that selfishness. Next is to role play. So this sounds a little crazy, but let's just say you're having a little bit of a work struggle, and maybe you've got a coworker that you're not able to see eye to eye, and you're struggling with them mentally, just with yourself, or if you wanted to, you could bring somebody else into the equation, but walk through both sides of what's going on. So play them in your mind, what they're saying in the conversation, and truly work to imagine yourself in the other role, because that can help you hear from their perspective. I actually read something this morning, and it also said, if you're struggling with seeing, eye to eye with somebody, try not to see eye to eye from them. Try to sit next to them. Okay, so it sounds a little crazy, but let's just say that you're having a little bit of a battle with a loved one. Instead of sitting across the table and being eye to eye from them, sit next to them, because then you will literally see the room from their perspective. It's going to help you mirror them a little bit, and it's going to help you truly step into their view, their perspective, to work through it a little bit more. Next is to ask questions. So we all have assumptions of what we think reality is and what we think took place. But if we can ask a lot of questions, and this can be hard because sometimes you might come across as an interrogator. So work really hard not to, but just say, I don't see this the same way you do. And I wonder if you can tell me a little bit more about how you came to this conclusion. And, I really don't agree with your point of view, but I'm interested in expanding my understanding. Can you explain what I'm missing? Because we're all walking around as good people. But again, like we said, we're walking around with our own goggles. So if we can ask enough questions, we can try to see things from their perspective. And then lastly, give grace. So I read this one time where I don't even know the book at this point, but it was saying that when we tell fibs, so if we lie, we justify it to ourselves because we know our intention, right? Like, well, I told the kids that, I don't know, I'm trying to think of something, that Disneyland is closed tomorrow, but really, I know that I just can't afford to take them to Disneyland, right? So I'm going to lie and say Disneyland's off the table. But if somebody lies to us, we judge them on their actions. And we don't give them any grace in that maybe they had really good intentions on why they went. And I think this applies to everything, not just a lie. By really working to see things from that other person's perspective, we can give them the same grace that we're given to ourselves. So that's what I came up with for perspective this morning. Hopefully, it brought a little bit of value. But this was a good one today. Good lesson.
Yeah, it was a great one. It was a great one. And we're actually sending books out to the ones we picked some ones and I don't have my lists in my car that posted on social media yesterday, the picture of the call. So we'll be getting in touch with you. Guys, we love you. We appreciate you. Thanks for showing up every day. We'll see you back tomorrow. Hump Day Wednesday tomorrow.
Love you guys. Have a great day.
Love the
Bye,
work.
everybody. Thank
Love you guys.
you.
About perspective.
Thank you,
Stay safe.
See you
Andrea.
guys.